Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Coffee with Nick, and glad everybody's here. We're going to have a fun little show. Nothing too crazy. This is what Andrew and Brian get for putting me on my own little thing every other week. We're going to talk about what I want to talk about, and that's going to be building your tribe. For anyone who listens to podcasts, I like podcasts a lot. I don't really do a whole lot of music anymore, and one I really like is Greg Anderson. And he's got a really big thing there where he talks about building your tribe, which is something that I truly believe in, where you're getting other people who are like-minded individuals who will help you kind of push yourself and things of that nature. But that's who you're going to be around, who you can lean on, if you will. And a couple of things that are really good about building a tribe. I don't care if it's for real estate, building tribe for people who believe in what you believe in, the same kind of goals that'll help you stay on track, help you stay oriented on those goals, and hold you accountable when you don't do what you say you're going to do. That's a big one. So for real estate, for getting into shape, or surviving the zombie apocalypse, it's possible. I might go more into detail on that later. I don't know. Anyways, though, that's what's really important about building your own tribe, right? It's really important for you to do that for so many aspects, not just your profession, right? It can be a lot of different things. One of my favorite quotes from Jim Rohn is, you are the sum of the 5 people you are around the most. I'm paraphrasing, but and it's so true. Another way to say that is, show me your friends and I'll show you your future. I attribute that quote to either my grandmother or all of my best friends' parents in high school who didn't want them hanging out with me. They were all right. It's true. If you're hanging around with 5 people, the 5 people you're around with the most, that's who you're going to be. You are the sum of that. And there's a reason for that. You are going to borrow attributes, if you will. I mean, if everybody's going out on the weekend or every night after work and you're all going to the bar and getting drunk and doing whatever you might do, guess what? If that's all your friends are doing and you start off just hanging out with them a little bit, pretty soon you're going to be drunk every night. You're going to be hanging out. If all you're doing is watching, there's nothing wrong with watching football or anything like that, but if that's all you do, that's all your friends do, pretty soon that's going to be all you do. That's what you're getting around. Now, for instance, like I say, I like to fitness, right? Physical fitness is a big deal. And I try to be around people who also believe physical fitness is an important part of their life. And why is that important, right? If I'm hanging around with people, my best friends from high school, back in the day, we did stupid things. That's what we did on our off time. Now, our idea of a good time, if I've got an extra hour where nothing's going on, or over lunch or after work, or if we can all meet up, my best friend, we meet up once a week and go run 5 miles together, right? That's what we do. We don't go to the bar. We don't go do crazy stuff. That's what we do, is just go run 5 miles. We both have children of the same age, and that's what's really cool about it. So they get to see that, right? They get to see this is what my dad does with his friends. He's off running, right? I'm not saying that's what everybody should be doing, but that's what's important to me. And I'm surrounding myself with people who feel that that's important. So like I said, my 2 best friends from high school, we've all completely changed our entire culture and our family culture around that physical fitness, and trying to make sure that we can be around longer for our children, and that we can show a good example of what we should be doing, what we feel is important. And what's kind of neat about that is, here we are in our 40s, possibly mid 40s, here in about another month, mid 40s. And I'd say we're in great shape compared to where we were, some of us, certainly myself, in my late 20s. Right, I had gone a little on the far path there, and I was getting really out of shape and eating some crappy food and not doing a whole lot of exercise. And I was in horrible shape at the end of my 20s. And here I am, like I said, going into my mid 40s, and I feel great. And that's what I want to do with my off. Today at lunch, I ran off, and I went on a mountain bike run. Yesterday, I did 5 miles by myself. Those are all different things that I want to do. And the reason I do that is because my friends hold me accountable. Right? They can get on there and they can kind of talk about that. We speak to each other. Some days I feel like, I'm just not going to go do it. And I look over and I see my boy Oliver just ran 5 miles. No matter how hot it is in the middle of the day, maybe I should get off my butt and go do what I said I was going to do if we said we're going to do a certain amount of miles, right? So he's going to hold me accountable for that too. So that's important. How can that help us in real estate, right? Building our tribe, if you will. Last week was one of a really great week for me. And myself, Andrew, and Brian, we went down to Midlothian, Texas, and we hung out with one of our really close friends, Kent Bush, and his family. He's, I would say, a mentor of mine and ours in real estate. We met him many years ago at a conference and in the Bahamas, but it was a work trip, not a fun trip. It was a work trip, all work. Anyways, we really clicked, we really meshed, and he's over the years kind of given us some really great tidbits, things like that. We visited, we've gone down there, he's come to here. But what was really cool about last week is that we went down together and we really immersed ourselves. We were there for about 3 days, and we just immersed ourselves in real estate. Right? In our goals, we sat down and all of us were like, all right, this is our goals. This is what we want to do for recruiting, for sales, for everything. And what was really neat about that is that we already had a good relationship. We already trust each other, but we sat down on that first day and we just sat there and really just kind of came up with what we want to see done, right? The whole day. And we sat down and just went after it. Later that night, went up to dinner, had a couple of drinks, things like that, and just sat there and kind of talked. Not about work, not about anything else, about each other, like our histories, where we came from, all this kind of stuff. Kenton's entire family and the three of us. And what was really kind of cool about that is it kind of reminds me of like when you go out camping, whatever the case is, and you're sitting in that fireside chat, and you're just kind of hanging out, comfortable, right? That's where we were. We were just in a really comfortable spot, and you really kind of open up, and then you really build a really good bond. The next day, we headed again. We went right after it, and we're going for those goals. But what was really cool about that is that first day, everybody's kind of going through it and saying, hey, this is, you don't really want to open up the outside. You're only kind of saying what you think you should be saying. But the second day, look, everything's been torn away, right? We're out there. Everybody knows about our history. Everybody says all these really cool things after last night's fireside chat, we'll say. And what are we doing is we open up. We're like, what I really want to try is this. What I think would be cool is that. And then, man, that second day, we really broke through some crazy barriers because no one was trying to put on any kind of a show. And I'm not saying we would have done that anyways because we've been close with Kent and his family for a long time. But it was just really neat is that everybody just opened up so much on that second day. And I felt like, man, I was just rejuvenated. I was truly rejuvenated. So I came back from there and I'm just motivated. And so is Andrew, so is Brian. And I would like to think that so is Kent and his family. And what that was is that's part of our tribe. That's a real estate tribe, right? Like we can go in there and open up and talk about what we want to do. And the coolest thing about that too is if I say I'm going to do something and then I don't, I know that I can trust Kent. And I know I can trust Brian and Andrew to call me on my crap. But Kent will say, hey, look, I know you said you were going to do this. I don't see it happening. Like maybe you should be trying to do this because, hey, we're a tribe, right? We're all in this together. We're all saying, hey, I care about how well he does. He cares about how well I do and how well Brian does. And that's what's really cool about this. We can reach out and hold each other accountable. And so what I think is really important for any real estate agent, you don't have to have somebody that you've known for years, things like that, but within your office, and that's one of the really cool things about the world we live in now is we can be a part. You can join so many different groups online, if you will, on social media, whatever the case is, Facebook groups, all that kind of stuff, and find other people who believe what you believe. Let's use real estate as an example, but you can find other realtors who believe the same way you do. I would say the first thing to look for is values, right? You don't want to, if you see that somebody's doing a whole lot of stuff on their own, that's one cool thing you can vet people is on their Instagram or Facebook or whatever. You can kind of see what they're into, what they're doing, how they do their. If you see, hey, they're doing really good on production, but the other stuff they do is not really what I'm into. And I'm not saying what's right or wrong. I'm just saying you see what they're doing. That's not your thing. Maybe that's not the person you reach out to say, hey, maybe we should get together and let's mentor each other, if you will. But if you do see somebody who's doing a lot of the same things like that, you can kind of reach out to them in today's world and kind of and really start building that tribe and finding people and say, hey, let's go get the cup of coffee, whatever the case is, and let's hold each other accountable. We all need accountability partners. I think a great place to start would be within an office that you might have. But like I said, this can branch out. You can branch out in today's world and see what other people are doing. Join those groups. And before you open up too much, you might want to make sure that you do have that fireside chat with some people, or at least a version of that in today's world. But find other people who have the same values that you do, the same goals that you do, and start trying to really surround yourself with those people. Like I said, those 5 people that you surround yourself with the most, that's pretty much what you're going to turn into. You're all going to borrow different traits and tendencies from each other, and that's what you're going to turn into. So if you're hanging with a lot of people who are not doing what you want to do, maybe you should stop doing that. And if those of us who have the hero complex or whatever the case is, I'm just going to make them better. Guess what? That's not how it works. You don't dance with the devil and change the devil. So my suggestion to everyone is make sure that the friends that you have are people that you respect and the people that you'd like to be like. And again, within those tribes, it's always good to have somebody who's better than you at something because that's who's going to make you better, right? Like, hey, everyone knows I like jujitsu, right? If you go to jujitsu and you can just beat everybody up, well, it's great, I guess. But if you can find a place where people are beating the crap out of you and you're like, man, that's something I want to be a part of because that's going to make you better. Now, luckily, I go to jiu-jitsu quite a bit and I get beat up a lot. So I guess I don't have to worry about moving anytime soon. But the cool thing about that is it motivates you, right? It makes you look like, man, I'm going to keep going with this guy because he is just trouncing me. I'm going to get better every time I go. And that's the way to look at that. So find somebody who's doing more deals. Find somebody who's just really good at calling. Find somebody who's really good at writing their handwritten notes. Whatever the case is, something that you want to get better at, try and borrow those tendencies from those other people. So that's why it's really important to build those tribes because they're going to help hold you accountable, right? And they're going to motivate you to get you better. And not only that, like we always say too, is motivation is great to get going. right? To start. Motivation's not going to last. And we always say that discipline is what lasts. But one really cool thing about this, having a good support system, is going to help you with that discipline. Like I said, I actually enjoy going out and running, but there are days I'm like, I'm just not going to do it. I don't want to do this kind of stuff. And then my friends will be like, what'd you do today? Where are you going? Hey, I did this anyways. Okay, you're right. I need to stay disciplined. I need that little extra kick in the butt. And if my own little inner voice is just too strong, the inner weakness, man, at least it's really nice to have somebody else who's going to call me out on that. So that's one of those really cool things. So kind of got that going. And oh yeah, if you're listening this long, which there's a good chance that not a whole lot of people listen this long, I'm going to talk about zombie apocalypse and why the tribe is important for surviving a zombie apocalypse. Now, the world doesn't have to end in zombie apocalypse, but it'd be a lot cooler if that's what happened, right? But it could be anything. It could be an EMP, electromagnetic pulse. It could be an asteroid. It could be, I don't know, a dangerous virus. I don't know. It could be anything. The point is that a lot of people always say, hey, you know what? I'll be good. Zombie apocalypse comes and I know how to shoot a gun. I know how to fight. I'll just go to the mountains. Me and my family just go to the mountains and we'll just survive there. Sadly, and this goes for myself as well, how many of us city folk know how to survive in the mountains? Not many. Because I'll tell you right now, I know how to shoot, right? You know how many animals I've ever actually shot? 0. You know how many animals I've ever skinned? 0. I don't know what I'm doing. And there's probably not going to be YouTube when it's time for the EMP or the zombies to show up. So we're not going to be able to figure that part out. So what are we going to have to do? One, we're going to have to train ahead of time. But this is where that tribe thing comes in handy, right? People always say, hey man, you seem like you'd be good in a zombie apocalypse. Let's all be part of it. Let's all get together. Can I be a part of your group? Hell no, right? You got to earn that. And that goes for me too. Everybody has to earn their spot. So what are some things that we need to be able to bring to the table in a tribe for a post-apocalyptic world? Well, let's think about this. So it's good to learn to shoot. Let's learn to hunt, farm, can, garden, or farm, whatever you might want to say, and medicate, right? Medical issues, healthcare would be a big deal. All of those things are really important. And yes, I am going a little into detail on zombie apocalypse, but hey, it's my video and I got like 2 more minutes. So why is all those things really important? Shooting, violence, all that, super cool, right? That's about the only aspect I think I've got whenever I try to get into somebody's tribe on the end of the world, which, already got some people on that. But only in the movies is that the most important part. Survival is probably going to come a lot more down to, do we have shelter? Do we have food? And if somebody gets a cut, like I have a cut on my knuckle right now, post-apocalyptic world, I'm basically dead. It's over. It's gone. Unless I have someone who knows healthcare, right? And that's where that's important, because I know 0 healthcare. I know how to put a tourniquet on someone who's bleeding. After that, I got nothing. That's all I got. So what do we need to do? We need to find people who do. Doctors, EMTs, nurses, you guys got a spot. I don't know, maybe I'm hiring. You can reach out. We'll see what happens in that post-apocalyptic world. Farming, canning, right? I don't know how to can. I don't know. I mean, I can put stuff in a can, but I don't know if it would stay edible after 20 minutes outside the fridge. But people do, right? So those kind of things. Think about those kind of little deals. But why is that important? There's a tribe. You find people who are good at different aspects, right? If somebody's good at canning, they got a spot. Healthcare, they got a spot. Shooting, cool. It might come to that. That's a spot. But hunting is different than just shooting. Like I said, I can shoot an elk. I don't know what to do with it. Once it's done, I would have no idea. If you put me in front of an elk right here, I don't even know. I'm probably not even man enough to start. But there are people who are, and that's what's important. And then they can teach you to survive on the outside. So why is that important in a real estate video real quick? Well, let's circle back. Let's talk to other realtors, right? Maybe they can teach you to survive in a pre-apocalyptic world. In real estate and sales, you can find somebody who's really good at scripts. You can find somebody who's really good at handwritten notes. You can find somebody really good at following up, right? A lot of us are really bad. You can find somebody who's really good at just picking up the phone and actually starting to call. What is another thing realtors are really bad at? Talking to people. Don't ask me why, but we seem to be that way. So anyways, that's why it's important. And that's how we tie zombie apocalypse and real estate together. Didn't think I could do it, but I did it, right? So that's what we do. Same thing, hunting, farming, canning, or making your phone calls, follow-ups, basically the same thing. But the most important thing is building that tribe. And I hope I've shown that. Remember, you are the sum of the 5 people you're around with the most. So if you're hanging out with idiots, stop it. Just stop it and find somebody who motivates you. Find people you want to be like. emulate that portion, and try and do better than them. Because the people in your tribe should always be pushing you to be a better version of yourself. It's that simple. And if you are hanging around with people who seem to constantly try to pull you back, then you're in the wrong tribe. Military is a super good example of that. If you're in the military and it's time to take the APFT, let's say the Army Physical Fitness Test, which is now gone, but I'm just going to use that as an example. When people show up, a lot of people are like, all right, time to do the bare minimum. Guess what? That's the wrong guy to hang out with. Don't be anywhere near that person. Avoid him at all costs, and he's a turd. That's it. Shitbag. That's what I'll say. If you look at other people and they're over there like, all right, I'm going to have the best I've ever done, and I'm going to beat you. That's the kind of guy you want to hang out with. That's the kind of person who's going to push you to be better. You always want to try and be a little better than you were the last time you took that APFT. Same thing. How many deals did you do last year? You should always try and do more deals than you did last year. Production, volume, whatever the case is. I'm not telling you what your goals should be, but those are some ideas of what your goals should be, but you should always be a little better, even if that's just time management. If your goal is I want to be around my children more, but still get the same amount of production, awesome. But you're going to have to do something different because something's changing from last year, right? That's what it all comes down to. And if the people you're around are all about family time, but still paying their bills, that sounds like a pretty good tribe to be a part of. So let's look for those things. They're going to push you to be a better version of yourself. And that is the entire goal and why you should build a good tribe of people that you want to be around, that you respect, and that they respect you. And remember, if you want to be a part of a tribe, you have to be a value add, right? Don't just show up and eat everybody else's meat and hope somebody else is going to defend you and you bring nothing to the table. No, not going to happen, right? Not going to happen. So don't be that guy when the zombies show up and you're like, look, I just want to hang out, right? I can tell jokes all day. No, not going to happen. So I hope we've learned something. Once again, I don't care how much crap I get for these. They're breathtaking. Guys, thanks for tuning in for Coffee with Nick. And maybe we'll have some more of these later. Thank you, everyone.